There are demands for a formal apology coming from Geoffrey Boycott, who of course is an English cricketing great. Joining me now to discuss that and much more is the Spectator's Cara Kennedy. Cara, welcome to the show. I know you're living in the US these days, but you're in the UK at the moment, your usual or your former part of the world. Now, I'm sure the story is being told a little bit differently over there to what it is here in Australia. How's it playing out?
Well, I think you've oversold me for starters, Caleb, because I'm definitely no sport expert, certainly not cricket, but I know you're very passionate about it. So I'm going to try my best for you. So basically, Rishi has come back and commented on what went down, and he has agreed with the English captain and said that he wanted to agree and say that he... basically along the lines of he wouldn't have been happy to win the way that Australia did. But he said it through an official spokesperson, which I think is quite wimpy of him.
Yeah, he wouldn't dare say it out in public because he'd probably get lynched by the Aussies.
Well, I think what he probably intended to do was be light-hearted and kind of jokey about it, but it's taken the humour away by the fact that he's done it through official channels. I think it's pretty needless and petty of him, and I don't think the Australians are going to react very well. Well, I think the Australian Prime Minister's already reacted, right?
Yeah, indeed. I'll tell you what, it's not going to win the Ashes, but it's about the only thing anyone's talking about over here. I mean, water coolers, office kitchens. This is the topic of discussion. Is that how it's playing out in the UK as well?
Yeah, definitely. There's a lot of talk about it on social media. People are wondering if Rishi should have got involved, and if he did get involved, then whether it should have been through official channels. Because also the spokesperson did say towards the end of the conversation that there's bigger things to focus on, which is the relationship between the two countries. And if that's the case, then what was the point on commenting on it,
and yet he still felt in any way, you know? He still felt the need. Get over it, you Poms! That's all I'll say. Now, Harry and Meghan on their continuing pity tour, now they reckon they've been repeatedly unlucky in their attempts to relaunch themselves, because ever since they moved to the US, it's been one thing after another. It was COVID, and then there's been an economic downturn, and the Queen died, Prince Philip died. Oh, woe is me. I'm sure it's got nothing to do with the fact everyone hates you.
Yeah, well, I think this latest report really shows how out of touch they are with the average person. I mean, I'll give them the benefit of the doubt by saying that the Queen's death didn't do much for their cause, because obviously there was a lot of resentment from the British people and people all over the world with how they treated her in her last few years. But to say their economic downfall, I'm probably referring to multiple recessions and a cost of living crisis, I mean, they obviously think that if none of that would have happened, then people would want to spend their hard-earned cash on watching videos of Meghan and Harry continuously moaning. I mean, it's insane. I would rather set fire to my money than do that. And, you know, this isn't just small amounts of money either. The Spotify deal was 20 million. Netflix was reportedly 150 million. It's an astonishing amount of money for how little work they've done. I mean, it's a combination of, well, I think 15 hours of output.
Yeah, and I got to tell you, the only mob I think it would be worth paying for their moaning is Guantanamo Bay, so they can show it to inmates down there and torture them. Now, help me understand. The Bank of England, which is the central bank over in the UK, they've been trying to get themselves onto the top 100 employers list of a charity called Stonewall, which is an LGBTIQ charity. They put together a document to try and get themselves on this list, in which they trumpeted the fact that their parental payment scheme is available not just to women but to quote-unquote birthing parents. It resulted in a pretty comical take on television the other day between Jacob Rees-Mogg, who's a Polly in the UK, and one of his guests. Take a look at this.
The Bank of England believes people of any gender can be pregnant. Can't the Bank of England get on with its job and keep inflation down rather than saying that men can be pregnant when they quite clearly can't?
Jacob, they can and they are.
Men are pregnant.
Men are. You're getting a little bit confused, as you do. I think
No.
you two are particularly obsessed with genitals, and it's not a good look. And actually, hate crimes against transgender people are going up, 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 up.
Particularly obsessed with genitals. It's a strange line to run out. But what is the Bank of England playing at? I mean, interest rates are going up in the UK just as they are here in Australia. But, the most important thing is we get on some top 100 employers list. Don't they got other things to worry about?
Well, yeah, you would think that the Bank of England and Andrew Bailey would have better things to worry about. There's sky-high inflation that we're all battling through in the UK, and they should be trying to get a hold on that. But instead, they succumb into this gender woke ideology, which is insane. But the biggest question that I have when this arises from time to time with big institutions is who asks for this? I mean, so the Bank of England have now said that they will offer to help pay for gender reassignment surgery for their staff. I can't imagine that there's a huge need for that with Bank of England staff. I can't imagine that it's the top priority,
Well, it's a great way to spend. It's a great way to spend money from the taxpayers of the UK, isn't it? I mean, they're paying for their own staff's gender reassignment surgery. I don't know that Sky News would do it for me if I went in tomorrow and said I wanted to be a woman.
Well, so this is just another example of political grandstanding. What you find with companies like this is they actually don't care about these different kind of culture wars issues. They just want to look good and kind of have the social media claps. But yeah, it's ridiculous. And who asked the Bank of England to just stop being a bank? And this is what you have to ask when different institutions do things like this, is like, who is asking for this? Everybody just wants you to do your job, especially now interest rates are so high.
Yeah.